Ezra chapter 2 Exile who returned with Zerubbabel. Here is a list of Jewish exiled prophets who returned from their captivity. King Leviticus has deported them to Babylon, but now they return to Jerusalem and the other town in Judah, where the original lived. The leaders were Zebra, Jeshua, Leber, Sariel, Ramal, Makin, Bilier, Beni, Reham, Bana. This is the number of the men of Israel who returned from exile. Family of Perel, family of Aaron, family of Amanatukah, family of Bani, family of Zakah, Edin, Heter, Jorah, Abrin, Laham. People of Basan, the people of Marma, Pimika, Lebo, Magi, West, Elam, Harim, Lord, Halim, Jericho, Sina. There's a priest who returned from exile, the family of Joseph through the line of Joshua, the family of Limer, the family of Pashur, the family of Harim. These are Levites who returned from exile, the family of Jeshua, and the sinner of the family of Aspa. The gatekeeper of the family of Shabbat, Eter, Hoba, the descendants of following temple, servant returned from exile, the Ha, Korah, Lambin, Hani, Hala, Malai, Eleza, and Hebrew. The descendants of this servant of King Solomon returned from exile Saudi, Selah, Ami. In all, the temple servants and the descendants of Solomon's servants numbered 392. Another group returned at this time from the town of Tamela, Tel Sasha, Tara, Adam, and Immer. However, they could not prove that they or their family were descendants of Israel. This group includes the family of Dilah, Tobiah, and Nakiah, a total of 652 people. Three family of priests, Hobiah, Hokah, and Mary also returned. This Beriah has married a woman who was descendant of Beriah of Gilead, and he had taken her family name. They searched for the name in the genealogic record, but they were not found, so they were disqualified from the serving as a priest. The governor told them not to eat the priest's share of food from the sacrifice, and the priest could consult the Lord about the matter by using the Urim and the Ushim, the sacred Lord. So the total of 42,660 people returned to Judah, in addition to 7,337 servants and 200 sinners, both men and women. They took the oath with them 736 horses and 245 mules, 435 camel, and 6,720 donkey. When they arrived at the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, some of the family leaders made a voluntary offering towards the rebuilding of God's temple on its original site, and each leader gave as much as he could. The total of their gift came to 61,000 gold coin and 600,250 pounds of silver and 100 robes for the priest. So the priest, the Levites, the sinner, the gatekeeper, and the temple servant, and some of the common people settled in village near Jerusalem. The rest of the people returned to their own towns throughout Israel. Chapter 3 The altar is rebuilt. In early autumn, when the Israelites had settled in their town, all the people assembled in Jerusalem with a unified purpose. Then Joshua son of Jodak joined his fellow priests and Zebulun son of Shebra with his family in rebuilding the altar of the God of Israel. They want to sacrifice the burnt offering on it, as instructed in law of Moses, the man of God. Even though the people were afraid of the local residents, they rebuilt the altar as its old site. Then they began to sacrifice the burnt offering on the altar to the Lord each morning and evening. They celebrate the festival of shelter as prescribed in the law, sacrificing the number of burnt offering specified for each day of the festival. They also offer the regular burnt offering and the official offering required for the new moon, celebrate and the annual festival as prescribed by the Lord. The people who also gave the voluntary offering to the Lord 15 days before the festival of shelter began. The priest had begun to sacrifice burnt offering to the Lord. This was even before they had started to lay the foundation of the Lord's temple. The people began to rebuild the temple. Then the people hired mason and the carpenter and brought the cedar log from the people of Tyre and Sidon, paid them with food, wine, and olive oil. The log was brought down from the Lebanon mountain and flowed along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea to Joppa, for King Cyrus has given permission for this. The construction of the temple of the god began in mid-spring. During the second year after they arrived in Jerusalem, the workforce was made up of everyone who had returned from exile, including Zabro, son of Sharon, Joshua, son of Zedekiah, and his fallen priest, and all the Levites. The Levites who were 20 years old or older were put in charge of rebuilding the Lord's temple. The workers at the temple of God who were supervised by Joshua with his son, the relative, and Kadmiel, his son, all descendants of Hodaviah. They were helped in the task by the Levites of the family of the head. When the builder completed the foundation of the Lord's temple, the priests put on their robe and took the place to blow their trumpet, and the Levites, descendants of Ashbah, clashed their cymbal to praise the Lord, just as King David has prescribed. With praise and thanks, they sang this song to the Lord. He is so good. His faithful love for Israel endure forever. Then all the people gave a great shout, praising the Lord, because the foundation of the Lord's temple has been laid. But many of the older priests, the Levites, and other leaders who had seen the first temple wept aloud when they saw the new temple's foundation. The others, however, were shouting for joy, the joy shouting and weeping, wiggling together in loud noise that could be heard far in the distance. Chapter 4. Enemies opposite the rebuild. The enemy of Judah and Benjamin heard that the exile were building a temple to the Lord, the God of Israel, so they approached Deborah and the other leaders said, "Let us build with you, for we worship your God just as you do. We have sacrificed to him ever since King Ezra of Israel brought us here." But then Joshua and the other leader of Israel replied, "You may have no part of this in this work. We now will build the temple for the Lord, the God of Israel, just as the king of Paris commanded us." Then the local residents tried to discourage and frighten the people of Judah to keep them from the work. They bribed agents to work against them and frustrate their plan. This went on during the entire reign of King Cyrus and lasted until King Darius of Paris took the throne. Later opposition under Extra and Akshar. Years later, when Akshar began his reign, the enemy of Judah wrote a letter Akshar against the people of Judah and Jerusalem. Even later, during the reign of King Altars of peasants, the enemy of Judah, led by Bishop Mithra and Terban, sent a letter to African in the Aramaic language, and it was translated for King. Ruham, the governor, and Shishai, the court secretary, wrote this letter to tell the king about the situation in Jerusalem. They agreed the king for all the college, the judge, and the local leaders, the people of Tabor and the person, the Babylon, the people of Berlin. They also sent a greeting from the rest of people whom the great and noble Ashurbanipal, and deported and relocated in Samaria and throughout the laboring land of the province west of the Euphrates River. This is a copy of the letter to King Ezra from your local subject in the province west of the Euphrates River. The king should know that the Jews who came here to Jerusalem from Babylon are rebuilt this rebellion and evil cities. They have already laid the foundation and will soon finish its wall. And the king should know that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, it will be much to your discourage. For the Jewish will then refuse to pay their tribute, custom, and toll to you. Since we are your loyal subject and do not want to see the king dishonored in this way, we have sent the king this information. We suggest that a search had been made in your ancestor record, where you will discover what a rebellion city this has been in the past. In fact, it was destroyed because of the long and troublesome history and revolted against the king and the countries who controlled it. We declared to the king that if the city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, the province west of the river will be lost to you. Then King after sent this reply to Rehum, the governor, Shishai, the court secretary, and the college living in the Shem, the west of the greeting. This letter you sent has been translated and read to me. I ordered a search of the record, had found that Jerusalem has indeed been a hot bed of insurrection against many kings. In fact, rebellion and revolt are normal there. Powerful king has ruled over Jerusalem and the entire province west of the Euphrates River, receiving tribute, custom, and toll. Therefore issued order to have this man stop the work. The city must be rebuilt except for at my express command. By digging and don't neglect this matter, for we must not permit the situation to harm the king's interest. When this letter from King Absalom was read to Rehum, Shimsha, and the daughters, they hurried to Jerusalem. Then, with a shout of strength, they forced Jerusalem to stop building. The rebuilding resumed, so the work on the temple in there has stopped, and it remained at this stand here until the record in the reign of King George the Paris. And then we go into the chapter 5. So those 3 chapters are talking about the story after exiled from Babylon. And then there's God's plan, send them back and build the temple again. Should be the second temple. Alright, so that is today's Bible study. Hope I like it. God bless everyone. Let's see you tomorrow.